All right, guys. I'll wait for a few people to get in and we'll kind of get started. We do kind of have some, we got some major news, I guess is what we can say. I don't know if it's breaking news. I'm not breaking this news by any stretch of the imagination, but there is some new news coming out. Apparently, and I talked about it on my live stream this morning on YouTube, but apparently Seth has an attorney and was able to get the CPS documents. Those are the documents he was... let me just go through the beginning for everybody tuning in. This is obviously Sebastian Rogers. If you don't know anything about this case, this is a missing autistic 15-year-old boy that disappeared from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee. And when I say from his home, I mean just that. He went to, according to his mother, he went to bed the night before, and when she woke up to wake him up for school, he was gone. This is a boy that is a high-functioning autistic boy, but he also has a lot of other disabilities in conjunction with the autism, such as he has a chromosome deletion problem. And so this is not a normal kid. This is not a normal kid that functions or thinks the same way as you and I do. Needs a lot of hands-on. Goes to school, has a group of ladies that work with him and help him with his disabilities while he's at school to learn and things of that nature. So it's not like we're dealing with a boy that can just come up with all these plans and execute them. It doesn't work that way in this world. And so we are having a lot of issues. The mom is the only one that professes she was with this child the night before he went to bed. Nobody else was in the house. It was just her and him. There were some lights out in the back. Nobody wants to acknowledge, law enforcement won't acknowledge what they are. It looks like flashlights. It looks like there may have been floodlights on or car lights on. It looks like something. It looks like something. We don't know. We can allege, but we don't know. So I've reported that the family kind of has, Seth brought on a spokesperson, and he's been trying to get Katie and Chris to come aboard and have one spokesperson for the entire family, and that has foiled. There's been a lot of allegations coming out, but just most recently, the breaking news or the breaking update on this is the fact that Seth did hire an attorney, and it sounds like he's got the CPS paperwork. Okay, I don't know what's in those documents. We've all been trying to figure out. In all fairness, Seth should have been informed when the Department of Children and Family Services got involved at Katie and Chris's house, because he has just as much right as Katie does. They have a joint custody. Katie doesn't have primary custody. They have joint. They are exactly the same when it comes to the care of their son. So how was Seth not informed about what was going on inside that home? So I'm hearing through, a little birdie is telling me that sometime today, I don't know the specific time, I haven't looked into it yet, but it sounds like on the Pascal show, they're going to be releasing some documents. I don't know how much documentation they're going to be releasing. I don't know if they're going to actually be releasing the documents or if Seth's going to be talking about his findings or where they're going now. Now that is, jaw dropper 1. Jaw dropper 2 is we know that just, since March, we've had 2 private investigators on this case. I have professed my disdain for internet PIs. I like PIs in their community. I like privacy. I don't like when you have private eyes, everything being in the public. I mean, I feel like it deters, are the investigators? I'm not pulling away from that, but I'm a stickler on details. And so it sounds like the other investigator is now been asked to step down. And Khloe, in all fairness, she does sound like a nice girl. Her and I have had our own personal issue, well, a small one in the past and a long time in the past. But either way, she seems like a very lovely person. She seems very professional as much as she, as much as an internet PI is, again, I like privacy when I'm dealing with private investigators. And even with her being off this, if you were dealing with a normal private investigator, they're not taking an ad out in their local paper to tell the whole world that they've been asked to step down off a case. Yet, when we deal with these internet PIs, they have to go straight to the public and let them know all the stuff going behind, like her being asked to stand down. It's the new environment that we're in. So a lot of people are asking, things like, why are the musical chairs? Well, first of all, when you're dealing with a case like this and things are changing and new information's coming out, you have to come up with different strategies. So it very well may be that they're just no longer useful for what they need. It could be a personality conflict. There could be a whole host of reasons why there are musical chairs. I don't know if we all, when we go to a job, many of us have had multiple jobs, right? We didn't just go to the very first job and say, hey, this is a great, some of us did. Some of us were very fortunate like that. But there were some of us that weren't. We went to a job, we're like, oh, I don't like this job, right? I'll stay here until I find the next one, right? So it just might be one of those things where you don't know if you're going to work well with your professional until you have to work with them. And you don't know how well you're going to work when you disagree, So it may be very well that, Khloe didn't like maybe what he was doing, or maybe he didn't like something that she was doing. I don't know. Did he have a cell phone? He who? Rising Dreams. Are you talking about Sebastian? I'll just answer your question as all of them. Sebastian, no, his cell phone was left at home. Chris did have a cell phone. Apparently he was on the cell phone speaking to his wife for 3 hours. Does he have a work cell phone? I don't know the answer to that. Seth does have his cell phone. Katie does have her cell phone. But we definitely know for a fact that Sebastian walked out of the house, apparently, allegedly, reportedly, without anything, not even his shoes, just a little flashlight. It sounds like a keychain, like a really tiny flashlight, not a normal size flashlight. But hopefully, I don't know which cell phone you were talking about, but hopefully that answered all the questions. Wait, Khloe's not working the case anymore? Seth asked her to stand down. And she, I don't think did I take a picture of it? Did I take a picture of it on here? Give me a second. I might have taken a picture. I did not take a picture of it. Let me go over here. I think I was just looking at it on here. Let me see. Khloe. I'll read her statement. It's only fair. So here's what Khloe's statement says on her Twitter page. It says, "Good morning. As many know, I've been the private investigator on Sebastian Rogers' case. I've been involved since early March and have worked consistently and tirelessly with many incredible people in this community. I need to announce that I've been asked to step..." See, you wouldn't get this from a normal PI. I'm sorry, they're not putting out a presser in the local paper if they part ways with their client. Again, one of the reasons why I if you ever ask me about PIs, I don't recommend anybody but somebody in your community that's highly recommended. That's how, because you need boots on the ground, you need somebody you can talk to, you need somebody you can see belly to belly. Just my personal preference, but it's not everybody's. I've been involved since early March. She says I needed to step down. The decision was made after hard conversations and incongruence with boundaries I've personally held in regard to the direction I believe my investigation should go. Seth and I have chosen different paths, but our goal stays the same. These cases are difficult, and discussions on who to involve in an investigation are not always agreed upon. As most know, I am highly protective of my victims and families I serve. Everyone involved wants nothing more than to find Sebastian. Seth is aware I will never stop searching for Sebastian, and he does not want me to. I will continue as I have for 2 months. Just know I will be doing it independently. I'm open to questions, although I'm sure there are some I will be unable to answer. Please do not allow this statement to further distract you from our goal, but it's a distraction. You don't want this to just distract us, but again, it's a distraction, and I'm sorry. I just heed my advice. If you're missing a person or you need help, find a local PI. It's just another level of BS that you just don't need in a case. And it's like every time you turn around, everybody's got to go to the freaking podium and tell about this, that, or the other. That's not good for an investigation. It's just not. I'm not being picky. Just think about it. Would you want this going on in your case if it was your child? I mean, I can't imagine. So if people are wondering why these directions are being made, I would have to, just have you guys look at what's been going on in this case. I mean, it's been a hot mess express. So clearly, maybe the team that was put together may not be the best team going forward. I'm just saying, not that nobody's done anything wrong. It's just that this has been a hot mess express, and nobody has seemed to be able to tamper that down. Plus, you got a whole sector of people kind of, not that Khloe's part of it, but a whole sector of people that are attacking Seth's mother, too, that she happens to be associated with. So there is that. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, nor do I care. It has literally nothing to do with what we're doing here. And what we're doing here is trying to find this boy, not listen to all this noise. So if we want to learn some more about Chris, because let's face it, we all have an uncomfortable feeling in our gut that Sebastian's mom knows something, and so does his stepfather. I believe that it is almost at this point, there's nothing else I believe at this point. I absolutely believe all the information belongs with them. I think that they have everything that is needed to find this boy. I'm very highly, highly upset and offended by Sumner County because they haven't even done forensics. We are 2 months into this investigation. They have allowed the Proudfoots to move around freely, even though they themselves know damn good and well this child is seen going in that house and has not yet been seen leaving. This is a child that has been taken care of by his family, has no friends. He has no contact to the outside world unless it's in a controlled environment, such as talking to, say, Faith on the phone, like through face chat. That's about as much as this boy is allowed to do online. He would not have any. This would probably, out of all the kids that we cover, this is probably the lowest one on the totem pole of being able to have any type of, online predator. He wasn't online. His parents didn't let him get online. His mom didn't, his stepdad didn't, and his father didn't. So it removes that whole entire thing. Therefore, if there was anything to get Sebastian's attention, it would have to be somebody he knew. But even if somebody was outside of his window trying to coax him out of the house, the information we know from everybody involved is he would have most likely put on his shoes before walking out, because it's just ingrained in his mind. The way his mind thinks if he walks out of that house without those shoes, his feet are going to be hurting because the ants are going to bite him. That's how this boy thinks. So he wouldn't have gone out of that house to be stung by a bunch of ants. He's going to put his shoes on so he doesn't have to worry about that, because that's the way his mind thinks and the way his mind always thinks, and why he always puts those shoes on. It comes down to a very specific event in his life. From my understanding, he had a gaming system at CES, so he was no. See, this is where everybody keeps thinking that just because you have a gaming system, you have to be online. That is absolutely untrue. He had no access to the internet. He had a gaming system. He had a Switch that was not, he had physical games that were downloaded. He was not on the internet at all. His family, everything that they got, they kept that in mind. They did not want him. They were very, 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 very careful to make sure that he did not get online. His mother has said that. His stepfather has said that. Seth has said that. Everybody that has worked with him, even at the schools, have said that. So I don't think, just because he has a gaming system, people need to remove the idea that because you have a gaming system, you have to be online. It might be something for parents to look into. You can have a gaming system and your children can play games without exposing them to online predators. You can cut that whole feature out. So I think that is wrong. Ingram, I think, would leave a lot of evidence behind. And that's another thing. I don't think Sebastian is capable of planning out this elusive scheme to run away from home. That's another problem. He has some major learning disabilities. I don't think a lot of people are taking into consideration, maybe because, they have their own highly functioning autistic child, and so they're or family members. So they're probably looking at their own high functioning even high functioning autistic children still function much differently from one child to the next. I'm learning this stuff, right? We're learning as we kind of go with this case. So I think people are looking and thinking that, but see, what people are eliminating from this equation is Sebastian has other medical issues, and other disabilities in addition to the autism, such as the chromosome deletion syndrome type. I don't know if it's what it is, if it's a disease, if it's a disability. I don't know, what the deletion. I'd have to think, because it's something missing from the body. It's got, I don't know. I don't know what they, I don't want to misspeak here, but, he has other medical issues that aren't helping with his learning disabilities, his speech disabilities, and the other disabilities he's going on. He just had a lot of stuff going on with his poor little body, Those issues don't affect his mental abilities. Well, I would definitely, I know people would like to try to explain some stuff, but I would definitely recommend you going and watching some videos where he's talking. It's not, it's very noticeable. I think, again, people need to see it, and I think once you hear him, once you see his behaviors in the videos, I think you'll understand he has some issues. He has some pretty significant issues. I haven't seen any of it. Yeah, there's several of them out. I just watched one this morning, and it was the first time I got to hear him speak. And he was talking to his Aunt Melissa, which is, I'm assuming, again, I didn't see who was on the other end of the camera. I'm assuming is Chris Proudfoot's sister, Melissa. And I think he even called her Aunt Melissa. But when you heard how he spoke, you knew very good and well that he had some disabilities. And we don't know how he communicated. It sounds like he was a good kid. It sounds like he was a happy kid. He just had, his poor body had some things going on with it. I don't know if he would ever be able to live a normal life without assistance, honestly. So, some high-functioning autistic people don't need any type of assistance. They can pay their own bills, go to a job. There are some high function. There's people that have autism that you wouldn't even really know had autism. It's it's different degrees. It's definitely different degrees. Some are worse than others. CP said on an interview he was 15 but wasn't mentally 15. Yeah, to whoever said mental disability, exactly. He wasn't there. He's childlike. So he probably, I don't want to misspeak, I'd rather learn from, but but it sounds like he behaves like a very young child in a 15-year-old body from the description that I understand. So as far as the mental disability part of it, yeah, there's that as well. So we just, again, he just doesn't communicate the same as the rest of us. And the one thing I've learned about, and this is what we were talking about on my show this morning, the one thing I've learned about autism out of everything, and it's from every degree. I think every parent that had a child from different degrees of autism had reached out to me and expressed their story. And one thing that has been kind of drilled in my head with all the degrees of autism is how important a schedule is. How important repetitive behavior, consistency every single day really helps them thrive. That's the one consistent thing that I heard from parent to parent, is how important that consistency is, and how they do everything the same way over and over again. And it keeps drilling me home, how important putting those shoes on would have been for him. You see what I'm saying? How extremely important those shoes. And that's what he was missing. And no overstimulation. Yeah, think Pink. That was one of the things that the parents themselves said trigger, outburst from Sebastian. And people had brought up that they felt like, going to the BJ's, having the colossal popcorn, going to the bowling alley and out to dinner may have been a really overstimulated date. And actually, you know what? It might have been exhibited by the end of the day, because when TBI called Seth and Katie into their the police department some time ago. This wasn't a recent event. Chris was at the camper. This is the one time that Katie was home. Katie and Seth went up to law enforcement, and this is when law enforcement showed Seth, Katie, and Sebastian walking out of the Texas Roadhouse. They didn't show him any other video, but at this point, Seth just wanted proof that he was there Sunday, and so that's all that purpose was. And so, even though he couldn't record it or anything like that, he went on a podcast and explained that particular video he had witnessed. And the one thing that he said out of his mouth was that he didn't see his son as happy as he is when he's with him. That was the one thing that he said on that show. And I remember that was pretty notable. And I've never let that go, because Katie and Chris, had described him being so happy that day, and how, they could have understood if he walked out, if there was some problem, right? Remember that? They kept saying, we don't understand why he would leave. If there was some problems, we might have understood. Well, we're definitely seeing some problems. There's no doubt about that. What's the update? Quick and simple, Reader's Digest. For those that are just tuning in, the quick and simple is there's going to be a release of documents sometime today on the Pascal Show over on YouTube. I don't know when he's going live. He might have already gone live. But apparently it sounds like the Seth is going to be doing an interview over there. And for whatever reason, I think it might be this afternoon or this evening, but I can't be sure. Go over to Pascal's show over on YouTube and see if he may have it already set up or not. But I'd monitor that. But it sounds like it's going to be coming out on there at some time today. And Khloe, the one of the first PI, Heather, the one that recorded the conversation with Chris threatening Khloe, well, apparently she was let go or asked to chill out earlier on, like a couple weeks ago, and it sounds like Seth approached Khloe in the same manner and asked her to step down or whatever. It sounds like they're having some disagreements on the path forward for this investigation. And when you hire, or I don't even know if she's hired, it doesn't sound like anybody was getting paid. They're apparently she feels the case for her client should go one way, and he feels the case for his son should go another. Sounds like what I read. And so that's where it's at. Khloe, it doesn't sound like we have any private investigators on the case now. I'm not sure where that case, what they were able to produce, since March for him anyways. Only he really knows that. But it just seems like at this point, something happened to Sebastian, and I don't know until Katie or Chris talk, or until law enforcement, looks at the data, the forensic data from the cars. And I don't even know if they pulled the cars. They haven't done, from my understanding, they haven't done any forensics on the house or the camper. It doesn't sound like they searched. According to the TBI website, not one time did they list that they searched Chris or Katie's camper. They have done, the law enforcement out there ain't done nothing. I don't know what to tell you guys. They literally haven't done anything. They might have pulled phone records. 2 months into a missing child case that you can see go into a home, but you don't see coming out of the home, and you got some phone records. Sorry. I don't know what to say. I really don't. It doesn't sound like they've even gone into the boy's room to even spray it with any type of forensical chemicals, or, to find out what happened. It is just, the people out here are so upset that they've actually got avocations going on right now, activism going on right now. They are actually going to the district attorney and law enforcement. They're doing calling campaigns. They're literally blowing up their phones right now at the state prosecutor's office, at the state attorney's office, at law enforcement office. Right now, there is a major push for everybody calling out there to those departments and telling them and putting pressure on law enforcement. Do they need it? You know what? I'm sorry, they kind of did it to themselves. It sounds like a whole bunch of people from Tennessee have just had it, but law enforcement did it to themselves. People are nervous, they're scared, they're being ghosted by law enforcement. Law enforcement is not doing this job. We don't even know if it's an investigation. The last time we heard from law enforcement, they told us that this is a missing child. There's no criminal investigation. There's no evidence of foul play. This is what they told us all. And then they stopped doing press conferences. And we're supposed to believe that they're still looking for this child. And they very well may be. But honestly, I don't know. Nobody knows why, because we haven't seen law enforcement. And I can tell you the TBI website's not updated. They haven't updated it since 4/25, and it was only a statement. All the Q&A questions, if they've done more than what they listed previously, they've never updated any of that, which leads me to believe that they have not done any additional work since that TBI page was there for information. And the information that is on the TBI website for Sebastian is so little, it makes us nervous. And then we hear Chris Proudfoot works for Sumner County. Just so happens Sumner County, or Chris Proudfoot's family, and it just so happens Sumner County is the one leading this investigation. Still very uncomfortable information for the public to hear. Meanwhile, the law enforcement ghosting the public. So, and we're hearing rumblings that Chris is BFFs with one of the investigators from TBI. Could be rumor. But all these rumors could be tampered down by informing the public of what's going on. Because everybody is flying in the dark right here. We've got people out there in the woods searching for this boy, putting themselves in danger. And I'm not just talking about danger from sprained ankles. This is the woods of Tennessee, folks. You're talking about snakes. You're talking about God knows what out there. You don't know what's breeding and what's mating. You don't know what you're going to run into. This is the wild of Tennessee. And people are out there putting themselves in danger looking for this child if law enforcement is going a different direction. Everybody says they don't owe us anything. They don't owe the public anything. Well, then the public doesn't owe them a paycheck. We the public. I'm just joking. We do owe them a paycheck. But the point being is that they can come to the public, explain where they are in this investigation, what path forward we have. They are not just beholden to this case; they're beholden to the public. Period. Do they have to tell us anything about this case? No. But they can tell us. They can comfort us, right? They can comfort us. And whether they think that's BS part of their job, they're getting paid a lot of money to have that BS part of their job. Just saying. I think the public is due a press conference. I think they're due an update. I think the family is due an update. I don't know why everybody has got to fight this county so tooth and nail to get anything. Why wasn't Seth informed about what was going on with his child behind those walls? And I'm very much interested in finding out what is about to be dropped. There's something coming. I don't know what it is, guys. I can't even begin to speculate. I'm just saying it can't be good. I just, for whatever reason, I think we're going to have another jaw dropper today. I really do. And don't worry, guys, for those of you that do miss it, who did it, the mother and stepfather? Cindy, we think their behavior, they ran off. They literally ran off 3.5 hours away, a whole state over, 2 weeks after the child disappeared. I mean, call me stupid, but I've never seen no crap like that before. You know? And a medically needy, I mean, I can't imagine why this mom wasn't a blubbering fool having a medically needy child out there in the wild, just, you know, not knowing where he is or what happened to. I can't imagine. I would be a freaking wreck. I would be a wreck. So the update, and I'll be getting off after we update this. Oh, thank you. The update is now we've got some documents that are going to be dropped, or an interview that's going to be had by Seth. It sounds like it's going to be on the Pascal show on YouTube, but I don't know for 100% fact, but that's what I'm hearing through the grapevine. And then we have Khloe, the last investigator on the case, has been asked to step down. She is going to continue to work the case, but apparently her and Seth are going in different directions with the investigation. And it sounds like we've got some other stuff coming up here in the near future. I truly think that this, I think we're hearing things starting to calm down, whether people want to fight with it or not. I think some of these changes are amazing. I think they're great. And hopefully this is the path forward that needs to be had, because let's face it, while this case is great for clicks and views when all the chaos is going on, and we want this case to be solved. We, of course, want this case to be solved. But I think this is getting crazy. This is getting like Summer Wells. And it just needs it needs to calm down. For the sake of this medically needy 15-year-old child, it just needs to calm down. And so says live at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Thank you, guys. On the Pascal show tonight. It sounds like we're going to be getting some breaking news. It sounds like we're going to be getting some breaking news. So I'm interested and eager. And for those that are here, if you guys miss it, do not worry. You guys know me. I will be live, okay? We will come here live. We'll have a full breakdown of what we found out. I will be taking copious notes. You do not have to worry. I will make sure, check your messages. Okay, I'll check my messages, love. Thank you. Thank you so much. But we're here for Sebastian. We're not going to be giving up on Sebastian. I know that this case turned into kind of like a shit show. But I think, you know, I believe what needed to revealed itself during that. And now it's just time to bring it way down a little bit. And let's start focusing on getting this back to Sebastian and locating him. But I still believe we're never going to locate him without looking at the Proudfoots. Unfortunately, I don't see any way. Guys, if you're on here and you guys haven't seen my lives, I know I do a little more lives on here than I have in the past, but I really do break these cases down really thoroughly. I have call-in shows. I do a lot of different stuff. Tattoo, yeah, Pascal show, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. on the Pascal show. Please come over. I'm going to be there. I'm waiting with bated breath, okay? I'm going to be at the Pascal show listening like everyone else. But if you guys would like to come over to YouTube, come over, look up Bullhorn Betty. I've got Bullhorn Betty and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. Those are two different channels that I have. But I mostly go live from my main channel. The other channel, when I do go live, it's only on members only. And I do that just to give my people that are members only that wants to stay out of all the craziness of the main chat. They have a little safe haven to go to, right? That they can chat amongst themselves. So that's really what I do with the crime stories when I'm live. But either way, I hope you do come over and join us. We've been breaking this case down. I'm hoping that we have something coming out that will help lead us to find Sebastian. I really believe we need to monitor. If anybody knows where Chris, if you've seen Chris or Katie Proudfoot, anytime between the 24th, from February 24th to the 28th, even after he disappeared, that's 4 days, I want you to reach out to me at bullhornbetty@gmail.com. I'm not looking to make a spectacle of you. I'm looking for literally behind the scenes information. If you want to come public, I'm happy to give you my platform, but really I just want information. So if you know Katie, if you know Chris, if you know the Bower Sox, if you know who Big D is, hey, if you know who that Paul is, that undercover other guy. No, I'm just joking. I don't know who he is. I don't know if he's a red herring. I should stop. But you know, if I can have an opportunity to poke fun at Chris Proudfoot, I'm taking it. I'm going to take it. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. We will be here a little later to give you guys an update. For those that are just coming in, the updates are we've got Pascal's show tonight at 7 on YouTube. Sounds like we're going to be hearing some new information about Chris, about Sebastian, about the CPS case. Hopefully we get something answered. You know, I'm hoping that I can check a box or fill in a blank somewhere on this massive amount of paperwork that I've got in this folder on my pad right here. I've been taking notes for weeks. So I'm hoping that some of my little areas get fixed in. And then, of course, Khloe has left the team. I know people are upset. She sounded like a nice girl. I don't want to, I don't have any disrespect. The only thing that I ever dog on is the private part. Because you know damn well they're not private, okay? They're a very public investigator. That's what they need to be. Their PI stands for public investigator, okay? We have private investigators, private eyes, and we have public eyes, okay? And they're just part of the public eye, they're PIs, they're just public, okay? I just want to make sure that you guys understand what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the investigators. Khloe seems like a very lovely lady that really puts her heart and soul into these cases. Okay, you can't dog somebody for doing that. That's all I'm saying. And so it's unfortunate, but she keeps carrying on, right? She's not out of the case. She's just not working for Seth. So we have the for the people that absolutely love Khloe, it's a win-win. We still have Khloe, right? For the ones that love Khloe, she's still here because she's still working the case. She's just not working the case on behalf of Seth. That's the only difference. So if you love Khloe, she's not left the case. She hasn't given up on Sebastian. She's still moving forward. There's just obviously their directions are changing. Seth wants to go one way, she wants to go another. So at that point, you're at a crossroad. What do? You respectfully, go your ways. So that's where it is. I don't think that they're mad at each other, and I think she'll probably still have a lot of communication with Seth throughout this process. So again, it's not it's good. I really think that this is going to be positive changes. I don't think that this is totally negative. Just my opinion. I guess we'll see, and who knows? There may be in another month or two, there may be other modifications made. I mean, you never know. This is a missing person case. You got to try whatever you can to see what works, right? Once you start getting a secret sauce that's working, then you'll probably start working on that secret sauce and keep building up on it. But until you get a good platform, a good foundation, it's hard to build anything on. So I think that's where they're at. They're just trying to get the foundation because this is going to be a long haul item. We've been here already over 70 days. Okay, we've already been here over 70 days. So it sounds like it's kind of like, we're going to be hurry up and waiting for quite a bit. So that's where we're at. All right, guys, go make it a great day. Happy Monday. We'll see you soon. God bless.